This conference will now be recorded.
Webinar, which was held in December. If you haven't seen it yet, please do go check it out on YouTube and our Facebook page. Mental health advocacy has become a very personal life mission for myself after losing my husband to suicide, hence why Sahyog is an initiative which is very close to my heart. We at Sahyog are on a path to build a community and safe space for our Indian international students in Canada. So to do this, we need your involvement, you the student, your participation, your feedback, which is vital to Sahyog's growth. Following this presentation, we invite you to join in on discussion. Till then, please share your comments and thoughts in our chat. And keep your phones handy because we'll be having a survey at the end of the webinar. Today, January 14th, 2021, our focus will be on emotional struggle, depression, and anxiety. Our first speaker, Dr. Dwivedi, who is the chief of the Department of Anesthesia at Santa Cabrini Hospital. Also, the national president of CGIF, which is the Canada-India Global Forum, as well as the president of NGO Freedom from Poverty Foundation. Welcome, Dr. Dwivedi.
Thank you, Shalini. Thank you, everyone, for joining in with us on this webinar. As Shalini has said, our aim is to help people undergoing crises with mental health. Redmond Burke once said that evil happens when good people do nothing. And this is an evil in our society. Mental health has become a stigma that society does not want to talk about or look into. This whole movement came about after a lot of discussion in our group, and you may wonder what is Canada Global Forum doing in something like this. Well, we were fortunate to host a luncheon back in the summer of 2020 with His Excellency Bisaria, and where we first discussed the issue of students from India who were facing problems. And I would like to publicly acknowledge the help that the High Commission in Ottawa and the Consul General's offices both in Vancouver and in Toronto have done in sending back bodies of students who committed suicide. And that really touched a nerve. We want to do everything we can to not take that help. We want to provide help for students to access services so it doesn't get to that crisis. That's our aim, that's our drive. And when you go to the web page of our site of Sahyog, there'll be a page of resources in the community. And on that page, you will see names and emails of people from our organization in each of these cities. So we have people, for instance, Montreal, 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐜 Patel and Rakesh Sharma. In Ottawa, there's Shiv Bhaskar, Narinder Garg. Toronto, it's Anil Singri and Vipin Sharma and Dr. Sharma as well. In the BC chapters, Adit Kavatia and Sudhir Nair. And in the Alberta chapter, it is Kanak Chamarti and Navdeep Mahendru. And all these people are going to be available to you to help you access community services that you may not be aware of that are there in the community to help you when you're facing certain issues. So with that, I'd like to welcome you again, and be a part of this mission to help. You all can play a very great role. If you see somebody who's facing a crisis, pass them our coordinates, pass them issues, help that they can access, rather than waiting till it's too late. That's my humble request to all of you. Please get involved and help students. It's so important and can do a lot. Thank you. Shalini, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Dwivedi. We're pleased to have with us today His Excellency Ajay Bisaria, a career path diplomat who was Ambassador of India to Poland and Lithuania, as well as High Commissioner of India to Pakistan. His Excellency stepped into his role as High Commissioner of India to Canada as of March 2020. Thank you for being with us here today, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Namaskar. Let me start by greeting everyone on the panel, Dr. Dwivedi, Dr. Shrivastava, Mr. Tyagi, Ms. Shalini Tuscano. Thank you very much for having me as part of this series. And thank you for doing what you're doing. I think this is something very important, and I'm glad that you're doing it on a continuous basis of going on in a sustained way to provide this resource for all our young friends who might need it. I think let me start by wishing a very, very happy new year to all of you and all our young friends or students who may have tuned in. Thank you very much for joining us. You know, this year is a year of hope because after the year of disruption and the year of the virus, we are in the year of the vaccine. So we hope that this would be for everyone a year of positivity and hope. India, as you know, is going to be part of the vaccine solution globally. And we are hoping that in Canada too, the rollout will come quickly and everyone would benefit from this. For us at the High Commission and the two consulates in Toronto and Vancouver, the student community from India is a very important part of the overall community of Indian citizens who are here. As you know, there are over 230,000 students in Canada, some 40,000 are added every year. And for many of our young friends who are joining in, it is a huge disruption in their lives, not only because of the kind of disruption happening globally, but the disruption that comes with the immersion in a new situation, in a new culture. And we were very troubled. I was personally very troubled by seeing the number of bodies we had to send back last year and to deal with. That just meant that there is a problem and we must face it head on and squarely. And that is exactly what this group is doing. As far as the High Commission and the consulates are concerned, we want to be a home away from home for the students, the citizens, and we want to work with such community leaders as yourselves on this panel to be able to give the resources and the professional and correct resources to our students and to anyone else who might need them. And I think this is very important. The physical and mental health of our students is critical to us. Last year, we had the opportunity because of the initial disruption that was caused by COVID. Many students approached us who wanted to go back home, and you would recall that was a time when flights were all not functioning, and that is the time we conceived the Vande Bharat mission that was meant to allow people who wanted to go home. And that I'm glad there's a bubble in place between India and Canada, and the flights are continuing in a very, very almost normal situation. And this is exactly what we hoped would happen, and that if anyone who'd like to go back home is able to go back home easily. But again, thank you very much for providing this resource, and I can only say that we at the High Commission and the consulates will be very happy to help you in any way we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Now on to our topic, emotional struggle, depression, and anxiety. We have with us today retired professor of psychiatry from the University of Western Ontario. He is our resident expert, over 40 years experience, numerous publications, and authored books on mental health and suicide prevention, which we will provide the names to on our Facebook page. We give you the floor, Dr. Shrivastava.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm really thankful to Sahyog for giving me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts. And in the process, I want to interact with the younger generation, which is here to contribute to the nation and contribute to their own self, their experience. But unfortunately, this is the time of crisis, a global crisis, not just in Canada. And the crisis has come up unexpectedly and a new form of virus has struck to all our life. And no doubt, everyone and every family has faced the challenge. A new phenomena for emotional crisis has erupted. Every young person, an old person, healthy or normal, is confined to room, to their houses. And this has created an emotional anxiety, a state of mental upheaval. And therefore, I'm very happy to share some of my thoughts about this problem to really being able to manage. So let's talk about depression. Most of the people feel that depression is an illness, and there are some who feel it is not an illness. And the borderline between normal and abnormal is so thin that many times those who need help do not get help because they are not able to identify what's going on in their life. So let's understand what is depression. I would say let's put it in perspective, saying that some of people feel disappointed, and that's a disappointment reaction. That's not depression, which needs any treatment. It needs only friendship and talking it and solving the problem in their family, in their school, in their universities. And after that, there is a situation where emotions lead to dysfunction. Some transitory dysfunction that somebody is not able to go to university or go to college and may take a leave, unannounced leave for a few days. And we call it a situation arising from stress. But there are some people who really face this challenge. They land up in a situation which is really a disease of psychological problem, a social problem, and of course, a biological problem. We know now that depression is also a brain disease. There are certain changes, but that does not mean that that's the only problem. A lot of contributory causes are from the field of psychology and sociology, the way our emotions are, the way we face the challenges of our life and react to normal and abnormal stimulation of stresses. So in today's world, about 10%, about 300 million people across the world, and anywhere in every country between 5% to 7-8% people are suffering from a diagnosable clinical depression. Now, depression also precedes an emotion called hopelessness. It's a very familiar name and everybody knows about it, but it's a serious condition. When the emotions get transformed into a state of hopelessness, the next stage is depression. So many times, if you want to recognize depression, we have to focus on emotions of hopelessness. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes, emotions, basic problem is we go through something like emotional dysregulation. Emotional dysregulation leads to emotions in personality, which is an integral part. And this allows us to protect ourselves. Does not really cause problem always, but afterwards, when emotionality increases, that means from every kind of difficulties, there is first response is emotional. Either you feel sad, or you feel very happy, or you feel sad and start crying. These are transitory emotional reactions. But thereafter, you have emotional dysregulation, which creates some biological changes, chemical changes, and changes in our adaptation to given situation. And that creates problems of psychological origin. Next slide, please. So the mood state, which is preceded by hopelessness. Now let's understand that it is on three planes, and one plane is a mood state and anxiety, and the second plane which interacts is of social functions and behavior, and the third one is memory and the planning and judgment capacity. So when you face any situation, all three types of planes, all three interact with each other. So some people have mood changes, but will have very subtle memory changes. Others may have difficulty in adjusting to a social situation, but will also have difficulty in planning what to do or making a correct judgment. And therefore, when you see different people presenting with different reaction to the same situation, it is because that brain and mind is construed of these three planes in psychological terms. May I have next slide, please? So this leads us to understand more about depression. The emotional component is from psychological context. The stressors arising from psychological origin and social field, and of course there are some brain changes. These stimulations are interpreted in the brain and create some symptoms which are in form of either memory. So when you are depressed, you feel poor concentration and feel you cannot really remember, and you may feel hopeless or sad, and all these symptoms lead to difficulty in function. So when you are depressed, you are also not able to work in a manner that you were working uh, otherwise. Now these symptoms, a cluster of symptoms, are known as depressive state. Rajesh, can we go back to the slide which has a video for symptoms on slide 2, 3? I think you got part 2. Yeah, go ahead, go up, please. No. Okay. You had in the set called part 1 before?
Oh, okay, that one. Okay. One
Yeah,
second.
this is part 2, and if you can go back, and I'm sorry for the.
I'll open that. Part one, the other one. Not this one. It's the other one.
No, not this.
This one?
Yeah, this one. So can you go to slide 3, please? Yes.
Yeah. Mhm. This one?
No, slide 3. Above
This
that, before that. Yeah, this one.
this
Does it
one?
work? After that, yeah, this one. There's a video, just click below, and this is a video, that's why.
Okay.
Yes. There is no audio?
There is audio, people can hear.
Okay, that's fine. So the next one is also a video. 2017, we celebrated Year for Depression from WHO.
Sorry, I think.
The next again is a short video. Yeah.
Mm, Okay.
Yes, go to next, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you saw all the symptoms which normally presents in depression. 2017, WHO celebrated year, dedicated the year for depression. It was called Series for Depression, Let's Talk. So all our world activities for educations and programs for intervention were discussed. Now, depression in students is gradually becoming a serious problem. It's not just in India or in Canada, but is across all the globe. People have tried to really quantify it, and studies have been done, and it's worth looking at these numbers. In Canada, about 15% people suffer depression. These are students. At any given time, you ask them, "How are you feeling?" and your response, the response that you will get, is of a depressive nature. But a good part is that about 12% of them receive a treatment. And let me also tell you that the recovery rate in depression is very high. So if 12% are present students are seeking treatment, about 80% is the response rate. Unfortunately, in India, we have high depressive rate amongst students, so about 17-18% of students. Some studies also suggest maybe 20-25% of students face depression and anxiety. But the difficulty is we do not know how many receive treatment. As you know, that mental health resources are poor in our country. We do not have enough hospitals, psychiatrists, psychiatric nurses, and that leads to their own share of problem. You go to next slide, please. So just to make a point that we conducted this study in an engineering college in India. So about 300 students of year 3 and 4 participated. And it was a workshop for about 4 hours. And we tried to understand what is their problem. And we came to know that there were students, about 6 to 7%, who needed immediate help. And another 6% were who had moderate symptom, but needed to address this with either their family or teachers. And about 19% people had symptoms, but not disease. But symptoms means that they need intervention. So overall, we were dealing with somewhere 30-35% students having problems of psychological origin. Now, these problems could be arising from their home difficulties, from school difficulties, finances, a relationship problem as well, and drug abuse is becoming a problem in a big way in Indian universities. Can we go to the next slide, please? So we are talking about COVID, and here the government of Canada has conducted a number of studies, and this is a major one, which tried to quantify what was the rate of depression before COVID and how much it was after first phase of the disease was over. And so this is the data of people who had very serious nature of depression. So anxiety between before and after increased by four times, and depression increased by 2 times. So that's the impact of this global problem when people are confined to home, are not able to really interact. So whatever are their natural protective mechanism is not there, and therefore they feel very depressed, and rate of suicide has also gone up. Their functionality has decreased. Some of them have significant memory problem as well. Can we have the next slide, please? So I talked about emotional dysregulation leading to hopelessness, and this leads to depression. Now, let me state that a lot of people who have symptoms, but that's not disease, as I said, but they are people who are at risk, and if
Hello? Hello? I think we lost Dr. Shrivastava, I think. Hello? Dr. Shrivastava, are you there?
I can't hear him. I'm going to call him.
That's okay. I think he was almost getting to the end of it. He could come back. I think, Shalini, you want to start some of the discussion part?
Okay. I believe we have a caller.
Yes. Yeah.
Nikhil, by the name of Nikhil.
Nikhil, are you there? Okay. Nikhil, can you talk?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead, and we want to hear about your experiences.
Nikhil,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Shalini. What were you saying?
No, I just wanted to introduce you. That you've been in Canada for some time, and you came to Canada as a student, so you'll be sharing with us your experience.
Yeah, that's right. Just wanted to. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nikhil. Just a brief background about myself. So I was born in India, and then after that I moved to Hong Kong, and then I came to Canada to attend University of British Columbia in Vancouver in 2011. And while I was in university, I had to move to different places for co-op and whatnot. And right now, after finishing my university, I moved to Ottawa. So if you look at my background, there's a lot of common theme. There's like I had to move to different places and start a new life and adapt. So this can be quite challenging. at a lot of times, especially when you miss your own culture and you miss the festivals that you really like. You can't celebrate them. So it was pretty hard initially when moving by myself all alone to a foreign country. However, um, what I did was I joined a lot of different associations. Um, so I became the president for the engineering society. Um, I was also part of the Indian Students Association at the University of British Columbia. Um, so this really helped me to connect and um, and help me like feel at home and feel comfortable. Um, and I found a lot of different friends quickly. And I did the same thing when I moved for my different jobs. I whenever I moved to a new area, try to get involved in different activities to keep myself busy and meet new people. So I would say the biggest advice that I would like to say for anyone who is coming to Canada from India would be that they should get involved in the activities or the things that they really like. Just have a network of friends who can support you whenever you need any help. And if you are facing any kind of mental health issues or you're feeling uneasy about anything, the most important thing is to at least let someone know about it, that how you're feeling, and because people can't really guess if you do not share. So once you share and people know that you're having some issues, there are a lot of resources that are available, not from the community, but from the university itself. And your friends are there to support you in your hard times. And what we really say is that friends are the family that you pick on your own, right? So this is just my 2 cents that I wanted to contribute.
Was there anything in specific that you remember from your time that posed some difficulty for you, and how did you handle it apart from joining all these organizations?
Like the biggest challenge as a student are, first of all, just like the financial side of things, just money related. Especially we all are from India, so the currency, the value is like $1 is about 50 rupees. So when you come to a new country such as Canada, like everything just feels super expensive, and it does kind of create some kind of stress in the mind that so you have to be good at like your own finance for managing your finances. So the one thing I really did was just keeping track of the budgets, how the money how I will be spending money, getting some part-time jobs to meet my expenses. The another challenge would be is just the pressure from the family itself, because um, first of all, the family has sent you far away to complete your education, so they definitely have some expectations, and just managing those expectations is challenging. And to manage those expectations, I would say the best option is open communication. You have to let your parents know that if you like something or if you do not like something, what are your own personal interests. So in my specific case, my dad wanted me to pursue computer engineering, and there was a lot of pressure from his side that I should do that. But however, that was not something I really liked. So the only option I really had was to just stand up to him and tell him what are my likes, why I want to do it, and how I see how I can see this as my future. So I think the communication with the people who are kind of putting the pressure is the one is very key to relieve some of that stress. Because at the end of the day, when the parents they're asking you or forcing you to do something, it's because they want they're thinking on like the positive side uh, for you, right? So I would say like the best option would be if you're feeling stressed about something, just be open and let people hear you.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Dr. Shrivastava, do you have some comments, something to add what Nikhil just
I think,
presented?
yeah, I have just logged in now, so I would address to the the question that come from the floor and from the students now. So if there is any question.
Yeah.
Members of the audience, we invite you to ask any questions if you have any.
That's right. The one question I have related to like the Nikhil, what he mentioned.
Yeah.
Not everybody is so, let's say, extrovert, social, and they go out and they find some groups. So if the personality is like the introvert people, and how would they like, and they have friends, and how would they build these type of social network, and how would they go about?
Yes, I think interesting question that there are different kind of people.
Yeah.
But a good thing is that people are generally comfortable with their nature of personality. For example, if somebody is an extrovert nature, he's comfortable being in that role. The problem arises when he himself or she herself is not comfortable in the role which the body is. So if a person is introvert, we might feel that there is problem, but in fact there is no problem. However, what we need to monitor is that various functions of life, that is eating, sleeping, interacting, if there are issues in those areas, then we'll encourage others to really hold the hand, be with support, and find out what's going on and address that issue. But as long as the candidate, the student himself is comfortable with the role, there should be no problem.
Okay, so we have a question from Kanchan. Kanchan, would you like to open your mic? You want to ask it, or you can write it here?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I just had a question regarding Nikhil's story, or anyone can answer. So as a service provider, so we provide counseling at our college. Are there different types of groups or programs that maybe aren't available that you think would be helpful to like international students from India? And also, like you talked about coming here and not being able to, enjoy certain festivals and things. So is that something like, do you think that should be like more purposely celebrated, some of the Indian festivals within the colleges and universities? So just some feedback around that.
Dr. Shrivastava, I think your spirituality being one of the founding thing and other things, I think could you maybe address that?
I think the reason why participating in Indian student associations and such is that it gives people a sense of connection to home. You know, even as someone who was born and raised here in Montreal, Canada, being part of Indian Students Association was something important to me because it connected to me, to my culture. And I've lived here most of my life. I only lived in India for about 20 months from 2010 to 12. So during my college and university years, being part of these organizations and associations just give you a sense of home. And I think especially for someone coming from India over here, to be connected to these associations and events, Indian events, it would definitely give them that connection and maybe and being in an environment that's unfamiliar.
I think if you permit,
Anyone else have
Rajesh,
anything to add?
Yeah,
this is what.
this is,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, this
I
is
just
where
wanted to
this
say,
is. Go ahead.
it's a good question, Kanchan. I do agree that, when we have all these festivals or any event that was organized by the Indian Students Association while I was in university, what I noticed was that these events were pretty much attended by all kinds of people, and it was like these events were like really massive. So I think at least in my university, we had a pretty good organization that was set up. However, there are a couple of smaller universities that may not have a large population of Indian students. So in those areas, I would say that I would encourage the new students to maybe take the initiative and start up some kind of group or some kind of club. That's one of the main things that people can take as an initiative if some kind of organization is not already in place. And something like the events, the Indian event itself, the initiative to organize these events have to be taken by people from India itself, right? Like it would be kind of hard for the university itself to maybe organize the events because they may not be really aware of how to really celebrate something or what are the cultural aspects of a specific festival.
Okay, good. Thank you.
An interesting aspect that he has highlighted, and we need to really talk more about it, that what are the resources and how people in the community really help each other. Yes, please go ahead. In the other.
Yeah, there's one more question from Rini Sharma. Rini, could you please ask your question? Go ahead. It's for Dr. Shrivastava. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Shrivastava, my question is for spirituality because I'm myself a healthcare provider. I use that a lot in my practice, and as I can see in your slides, spirituality is being correlated with cognition. I was wondering if you can please highlight that, like how are you saying spirituality's relation with cognition here?
Yes, thank you. And I wanted to really cover this to some part of in my lecture, but somehow there is technological problem and I could not. But spirituality now is taken up in the definition of health. So it is the fourth arm of health. So that's let us keep it in mind that it's not only social health, physical health, and mental health. There is also a spiritual health, which is part of our health. And the same applies to mental health more so, that there is no mental health without spiritual health. Now, why do I say so? That spiritual measurement and spiritual medicine is now the part of our day-to-day work. The number of American associations have already developed the ways how to measure it, and they can now measure what was the spirituality before treatment, say a condition like cancer, and what should be done for spiritual medical care. So in times to come, it's going to become part of the curriculum of postgraduate medicine. So there is now this question that what is spirituality and is it a medical component? Is it a science? That question is out. It is part of our work and it's there. Now the next question is, how does it work? Almost all spirituality is an intervention which connects mind and brain. So there is an influence on brain. The number of functions which take place in the brain is affected by spirituality or gets enhanced in its activity due to spirituality, and cognition is one of that. Now, cognition has a number of components, but to briefly state that spirituality enhances capacity to grasp, capacity to increase the mental functions. It works like that by influencing the affective component. So it works on mood and emotion. It has influence on cognition. In fact, a lot of functions of spirituality or effect of spirituality is mediated through cognitive components. So it helps you are more intelligent, in the sense more wiser,
to deal with your problem. You know how to relax, which perhaps you did not know before really practice a spiritual way of life. And there are number of biochemical changes. So for example, I'll give you one then that the brain is composite of millions of neurons, and the neurons have some projections in their structures, which are called the tentacles and dendrites, which is preserved by protein coating. The moment this protein coating is out, there is problem in nerve function. So what spirituality or yoga does is to protect the chemical coating of the cells in spiritual intervention. I think it is a part of life. It is a way of life and must be really taken up by not only people who are having psychological problem, but each one of us. So I think we should have a webinar on spiritual mental health some of the time, and then we would be able to take us to have more discussion about it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, we also have a comment from Joseph Basil. Joseph, could you please make your comment, and then we'll have a 2-question survey later on. Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I hope I'm coming across clear.
Yes, you're okay.
Thanks, Doctor, for that explanation. That was a really good explanation about about spirituality. I'd never heard that put it that way. My comment is mainly to students. I'm really enjoying this conversation, but I understand that 40 plus students are registered, or could be much more than that. So my comment to students is this, that wherever you are studying, to reach out to either a teacher or to the counseling department if you're having any difficulties. Don't have to wait till someone diagnoses you with depression. Because in my experience, I'm a counselor. I work at a local college here, Sheridan College. At least in the last 2 months, I can think of at least 6 or 8 students, Indian international students, who are somehow reached me, but they have lost 1 or 2 semesters because of mental health struggles, and they had never talked to anybody. And so there's so much of support at the colleges, from working with the faculty, working with the health department, with the counselors, with the career counselors, and with our accessible learning staff. If you're struggling with mental health, certainly we can put up a lot of supports to help you through. Even accommodations, academic accommodations can be put up. So that's my 2 pieces to the students who are tuning in. Please spread the words for yourselves and for your peers that if they are struggling with anything, reach out to any adult who is part of the college, and they will somehow direct you to the right resources.
I think very important point, and this is the difficulty, because depression remains unidentified for a long period of time, and it is one reason why it becomes chronic and difficult to deal with. And we miss a large part of early symptoms. But the only way we can make a difference to life is by early identification. Yeah. And that is why we have been talking that mental health chapter should be on the first page of the book which students take. Because it's only by education and training we can say whether the problem of emotion and memory, etc., are really problems which can be handled. So education of mental health should be part of the curriculum, and then it will make difference. But it is difficult to really see the days, But till then, I think the students mentor their own colleagues who are coming, and they mentor other students. And if the chain of help within the university goes on, I think we'll have a lot of benefit, and the word will spread around for making awareness and deal with their ignorance. Yes, it is important to identify depression.
Yeah, thank you. We'll have one last comment, and then after that, we'll have a quick survey, like one question we would ask everybody to answer. If you would take your phone, you can use the phone and the web. There is a link there. You can keep your phone ready. So Patrice, Patrice has a comment to make. Patrice, are you there?
Thank you, Basil, for just reminding any students on the call that your schools, wherever you are in Canada or in the world right now, have a lot of support. And I also want to remind you that reaching out to a counselor for help at your school, there's a lot of confidentiality rules that govern the conversations you have with those persons. So you don't have to be worried or scared about others finding out if that's what you're worried about. I did want to comment on the spirituality thing. Thank you so much, doctor, for giving us that neurological background about it. One of the other things, I also have a background in psychology, and I work with international students at our post-secondary institution. And one of the key things I love about spirituality is, along with spirituality usually comes a community, a spiritual community. And consistent research is out there that says that people who are connected with a spiritual community tend to recover faster from mental illness and reach out for help more because they have others around to support them. And so it's so important for us to really address that part of helping our students transition to living here.
Yeah, so I'll add that not only that there is spiritual community, but the entire community must be of spiritual, and everybody has a spirituality within them. It's only igniting them and putting that spark so that they can use it, start enhancing the sense of spirituality that they have and make a difference to their life. So in fact, spirituality has to be way of life, not only for individuals, but for the family and group of individuals. It is not that only people who believe or practice spirituality should get together in a corner. No, that's not the way. Everybody has spirituality in their life, and they must enhance it in order to lead a beautiful and warm life. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I think we are getting many messages. What topic should be covered? What should be there? We have some private ones as well. So I think what we are doing is we are collecting feedback on about the topics, and some of them. I think Anjana, are you there? You want to mention the question and then go ahead with that?
First of all, I would like everybody to log on to www.menti.com and use the code that's given above. I hope it's visible to all of you. If
you
not,
you can read it out.
Again. It's www.menti.com, and the code would be 5053739. Once you log on, you can see the question with few choices for you to choose from.
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the code for me, please? Sorry.
The code is 5053739.
Thank you.
So which one is this number 7? Number 7. What is the topic, Angela? I can't read.
Mental health stigma.
Stigma. Okay, so stigma is at the top right now. And what is the number? The 5, the last one?
It's family relationship and relationship conflict.
Okay, so
I've got at least 15 responses so far, and I think we have at least 24 of us on this meeting.
Yeah. So we will combine these responses with the other ones, the people who are not on as well. We can even combine and even share with people. So right now is the number 1 is the stigma, and number 2 family so far.
Well, I'm
family.
not surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones. Yeah. So if everybody is there, maybe move on to the second question, which is a little open-ended. You want to move on? Some people have already finished. Yeah.
I hope everybody has given their inputs, and I'm moving to the next question now.
Yeah. 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 Go ahead.
Yes.
You can read
the next question. What type of activities should Sahyog organize?
So this is an open-ended question, and some response will show, but we would share the more comprehensive data with the group and everybody. So as it's a free, like you can type out. These are examples. We said online discussion group, social events, webinars, other things, and some others. So this is the last activity, last question, and then we will just have the takeaways, or if there are some comments from the High Commission side, we would ask. So we'll have give some time and then we'll move on. Yeah. All welcome info session. Yes. Welcome in info session. Let them know this is our one of them. Yes. Social events. Yeah. Social events, familiar with the new cultural ones. Yeah. Online discussion groups we were adding on our website, events, cooking class, financial, budgeting, self-esteem. Yeah. Good. All of the online discussion group, book clubs, celebrating events. Excellent.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have 1 minute and then we'll finish off if from His Excellency side, if there are some comments after these, we will open up from there and then good. So let the reply come in. We'll share with them. I'll have so from His Excellency, are there any comments from the High Commission side? Are you still there? His Excellency, Mr. Bisaria? Yeah. If not, we will just close here. If there are no comments from their side. The major takeaways, I think, and then we are hearing and the more reconfirmation is of course, get involved. All the people get involved, students get involved into social activities, variety of activities, need for access to information, networks, resources, building database, and also we do it at the very beginning, upfront. When people show up, we can have that as a welcome, like an online event, something like that. Stay tuned for future events. We are collecting and we are adding more and more stories by students, their experiences, other things about. Then we would also have later on in maybe early spring a comprehensive survey of the needs. Once we even understand what type of question we should ask about the students, creation of partnership with different associations, regional, national, different stakeholders. And the last one is this building of an app. We want to build an app, like a smartphone-based app. And you may see another email asking you to participate in the brainstorming. What should be that companion app? It will sit on the phone. People could use it and do a variety of things, whether listen to music, go sometime or access resources. And that's what we are thinking of building one, and we can have a smaller group of people brainstorm what should that app be. There are some other applications. We found out Home is, HOMEIS, Home is application, but it's not that customized for our needs, but we found some benchmarks for that. So with that said, I think I would ask if there are any other final comments. Dr. Dwivedi from your side, or Shalini. If not, we would close it. Dr. Dwivedi.
I think that's excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. I think one of the things that came up is spirituality and how to celebrate things. For the smaller colleges and universities, there are social groups in your town. I think one thing CIGF can do is provide you with links on the Sahyog page about temples or gurdwaras and churches and mosques in your area where you could direct students to festivals being done at that place where they can feel a part of that community. And that's something which could be a very positive experience. Instead of just doing an event, if you have 2 or 3 students, it may be hard for the college to do an event for a small number, and yet they could be guided to participate in the event organized by that community group. So that's the only thing I had to say on that. And I want to thank you everybody again for participating.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. And participation was way, like, we are opening it up, and then I think more and more people should feel free to participate. If you have things to contribute, we have some of the topics mentioned to us via private messages or the messages. We would include those resources as well. And thank you, everybody. And the final words from Shalini, anything? You started, do you want to finish it?
Just want to say thank you to everyone, and thank you so much for your participation, feedback. It will help us, form the path and build what we're hoping to build for our community that's growing here. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Stay tuned for the next one.